Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 10 of Raising NA. Proving Grounds just ended for the whole year. It's all done, and 100 Thieves Academy are the winners. Yeah,
Woo!
we're here. We're actually
Damn.
well. First of all, we're actually doing another Raising NA episode. It's been a while. Welcome back if you're coming back.
We had some traveling,
So yeah, as you can see, I'm in a new place.
some moving,
I just moved yesterday.
some new
So
setups. Rafa's background looking a little bit,
yeah,
Indeed.
angular differently.
Did you go east, west, south, north?
So my desk used to be in the center of the room to over this way behind the window. I moved it back over here, which is like a corner of the room. So basically the background, shifted over there. The camera's facing this way only because last night I did Sea Champs for Wild Rift, and I had to put up the green screen because if I did it the other way, which is normally like this, I'm a little too like off center if I stand at the center of my desk. I don't mind
Got
it
it.
like this. So actually, let me adjust
It's
it.
like the photography thing, right? Like the thirds? Like you're like on
Yeah.
a third?
Yeah.
I know
Uh,
some shit.
Yeah, there you go. Rule of thirds, rule of thirds. And honestly, like the way I prefer like setting up for personal content and whatnot is if I'm over here, then anytime you're doing things like looking at chat, looking at reaction content, or like going over anything, you just put the thing over here, and it's like nice. It's not a lot of space, but we're not here to talk about my shit. Talk about proving ground shit and the cool shit that all happened this past month and concluded today as massive W to 100 Thieves reverse sweep. I'm just gonna come out and say that I have not seen every single series this September. It has been
Mark's been
extremely
sleeping today.
I haven't either. I was traveling the Harrisburg weekend, and I'm still behind on those VODs for like the teams that did not play in the days I was covering. So, yeah, I haven't seen every game either, but I think holistically, I'm really excited to talk about this tournament because holy shit, what a fun tournament and how different it was from the spring as well.
Yeah.
Comparing the landscape of Proving Grounds from spring to summer and like everything, like we're going to talk about the tournament like that just happened, but also talk about just the landscape of like what we've been going through for the last 9 months now. This is the conclusion to Riot's overhaul of the development system, and there were some hiccups, but still, I think holistically it's a fat W, and I think that today was a fun conclusion to what is a much improved developmental system.
Yeah. I think nobody could possibly argue otherwise for that. Like, so much has gone right for like the academy side of it, the amateur side of it, especially the amateur side of it. And then like putting them together has worked better than I think a lot of people were expecting. And I mean, now we just got to wait for 2022 spring to see who's going to break the tie, because amateurs got one now. 100 academy's got one. Gotta break the best of 3 there. So we'll see if amateur can do it again. I don't know. Academy looks so good in this tournament.
I mean, I'm just gonna dig deep and use one of my stupid dad phrases that I feel like lands, but I think that the entire like motto for me is iron sharpens iron. And I really think that by removing that brick wall that existed between amateur and academy, some of the teams that didn't do their homework got exposed in the spring. A lot of those teams fixed their shit going into the summer. Riot gave some more love and some, much needed TLA to the academy system that existed behind Proving Grounds. And in the end, whether an academy team or an amateur team won, for me, doesn't matter. But did we see a high level of competition in the summer? And did we see teams improve and get better and like actually do what the developmental league should do? Yeah. And like that's where I feel like this is a big improvement, because the quality of play that we have in these events, it's good. Like, that final today that went to 5, I mean, those were 4 really, really cleanly executed games for, like, each team to close each other out. And then for game 5, like, yeah, of course, there are some misplays, but I think holistically, like, it was a well-played series. And holistically, these teams got better from spring to summer. And for me, that's what the dev system should do and what it matters. And I'm curious for 2022, not for Proving Ground Spring, but just to see what the offseason's like, because it feels like it's the first offseason that NA's had where there's actually some infrastructure and actually some up-and-coming talents outside of just 1 or 2, like, oh, this guy's like rank 2 or like rank 3. There's actually like some talents that have really proven themselves throughout all this. And I'm really excited to see how this affects the offseason.
I think the most important thing about Proving Grounds and what it did for that is it's going to reward people who are fans of Proving Grounds and like can get immersed in North American like League of Legends in the ladder now, because when you see players like maybe Jenkins gets promoted to LCS, if you've been watching Proving Grounds, you'd be like, yeah, no shit, that guy is so good. Of course he's going to get into LCS. And like maybe that's not the best example because he did play in LCS, but like Ryoma or something. He's also Luger. There we go. Luger is the perfect example. People who just watched LCS are going to be like, "Who the hell is this guy?" But if you watched all Proving Grounds and everything, you got to see this guy play so well all throughout the entire year on a team that had roster swaps, like in the top 16 for Proving Grounds, and then they won the whole thing. And I think that is super, super important for like viewer retention and just rewarding investment in like viewers and like personal investment. It's like what like a video game like FIFA does to people who watch soccer and football. I think it's similar to that. I don't know. I'm not a big sports guy, but
I think what you're looking for is those who are invested into like the AAA leagues when they're watching a major league. So like if for some reason you're invested into AAA league baseball and you watch the spring development training, right? And then someone pops up, you watch the team field this new player. Casual fans are like, who's this guy? But then people who are dedicated fans to the club, they're like, yo, this guy's so sick. We're finally get to see him on stage. And that is always something that has been super exciting. And one of the things that we've always tried to push to the casual League of Legends audience to watch NA development overall, whether it's the semi-professional scene, whether it's academy, and why they should be invested into it. You're not watching it for the high level gameplay. It's not supposed to be like the super clean, but it's supposed to be the exciting raw mechanical display of just where you get to see freaks of nature just like emerge from the woodworks, and goes to show that like NA has some raw talent that when cultivated and given resources can actually turn into powerhouses that are ready for the big stage. I kind of want to shift this over to looking back at just making some comparisons and giving some praises. Obviously, 100 Thieves won the whole thing for Proving Grounds. Team Liquid also being a second place. Were the ones that won Academy Summer, and we went over their praises for they finally won their first Academy like title in like ever in the history of their organization. But let's look at the top 4 teams that got to Proving Grounds outside 100 Thieves and Team Liquid in Golden Guardians and Immortals Academy, and how they performed compared to what they did in spring.
Or they did in Academy playoffs.
Yeah.
Dignitas wasn't even there.
Exactly. UGP dude.
So Golden Guardians Academy wasn't even in playoffs because they ended regular season 8th for summer. They ended up 2nd in UGP. Golden Guardians Academy during the spring ended regular season 9th, ended Proving Grounds at 8th. This time around, they end in 3rd. Fucking W. And it's with a roster that every single player before 2021 had no LCS experience. Niles, got a split of LCS in spring, didn't get the best showing, improves a fuck ton in academy, and delivers on being the best top laners from academy this year by the end of the summer. Rose Thorn, completely new to the academy system and just everything overall. Wasn't even on a team that qualified for scouting grounds through the scouting grounds circuit in 2020. He was just on Team Cloud and just one of the highest ranked solo queue junglers. And if we're going to be honest, Rosethorn didn't give the best showing during scouting grounds 2020 compared to NXI and Tomio for Ocean and
compared
Infernal.
to himself now.
Yeah,
he's so good now.
Yeah, Rosethorn
for sure.
Yeah, Tim has come a long way. Yoonbi, I mean,
Fish Taco.
Team Fish Taco. Yeah. Yoonbi also just incredible player. Prismal has been long time deserving of LCS at this point, and I hope that by the end of this summer it shows why he deserves a spot. And I think Newbie also gets a little redemption arc as well because he's in the same boat as Niles. Gets a spring split of LCS after coming from the LLA, and the viewer experience, the viewer opinion is man, Niles and Newbie are trash. They just don't do anything for the team. And I hope that this is now changes and shows that narrative is bullshit. And it's not the players. Sometimes it's just how the team comes together, and sometimes the teams don't always gel together in the right ways, but that shouldn't reflect poorly on players as an individual.
I think what I also learned, I think what we all learned too, this is fucking revolutionary, I know, but more competitive games, in fact, does lead to some improvement. And I feel the schedule that they had, the fact it's best of 2, and then you go into these tournaments, it's not overwhelming for the teams in terms of prep. They still had a lot of practice days to get better, but they are also consistently playing stage and competitive games throughout the entire season, and that only helps. I think the way that doesn't help is if it's too much and you don't have time to practice or you don't have breaks. I would run back the schedule in a heartbeat for spring. The 4 TOs, the 3 tier 2s and the tier 1. Literally the only thing I would change is how things are seeded. And I would invite 18 teams, put them in 2 groups of 9, have everyone play best of 1. You get rid of the bottom 2 teams, and then you get your seeds. That's how Dota 2 does it. I love that format. And you put them in the upper and lower bracket. That's because Riot likes to broadcast every game. They probably won't do that, but that does solve the seeding issue.
Well, there's also another way you could solve it, which I talked about on Twitter a bit. If you make Academy playoffs 8 teams instead of 6,
that would help. Yeah, that would help.
Then every amateur team plays an Academy team right away, which is what it's all about anyway.
Mm-hmm. So
that could be a way that they adjust. But anyway, continue.
No, that's also a good solution.
Yeah.
I mean, I think overall there's no way that I can slice the pie and say man, this split or this year was worse than the last year when it comes to Academy and PG or scouting grounds. Were there bumps in the road? Yeah. Did Big League happen? Yeah. Shit went down that was not good. But overall, holistically, big picture, top down, what is the baseline point? The wall was knocked down. Everyone was given more games. Everyone was given a bigger platform to play those games on, and it only helped. That was very, very good. Big improvement. And I'm really curious to see how this affects the offseason in NA. Because it feels like you actually have new talent that you can try to incorporate into rosters and do so in a way that's cheaper than getting imports. And those players have a lot of them have proven that they're pretty good. Whether that's going from amateur to academy to LCS, maintaining your spot on the better team, keeping your spot on the team you're on now because you love the org you play for, doesn't matter. More tape that these guys prove themselves on.
Even just split to split too. I just calculated this. So Team Liquid Academy in the spring proving grounds, outside of Arena of Legends, They played 13 total games. That's 13, 1-3. And then in this split, they played 55. So there you have it. More games, more success. Obviously, it's not as black and white as that, but
if you make
really
finals,
big deal.
aren't you going to play more games in the first? Anyway, keep going.
That's true. Well, even if they had the same results in proving grounds, they would have still had it would have
13
been
games.
like 40 something.
Wow.
So there you have it. Yeah, and I mean on the topic of improvements from split to split, as Rafa was alluding to, I think the obvious big direction that everyone should take a look at is Dignitas. Dignitas Academy improved so much.
Yeah.
And it was only one roster swap, and like it wasn't. I think it was a roster swap that everyone thought was just instantly going to be doomed for this team. I remember watching how they were playing in the regular season while they were like in the first stages of bringing Will in, and he was like playing Rek'Sai and it wasn't working and like all this stuff, and I was like, man, this team is going 10th. This is not good. And then
we all did. To be
fair,
fair,
I think everyone did.
Yeah,
I think Dignitas probably felt the same way. They're like, oh man, this is rough. We got to work on this, and then they did. And I think that's one of the coolest success stories.
You didn't think that they would go 10th, Mr. Invert.
That's true.
Invert believed.
He was right.
And who's the one laughing at the end of the road when Dignitas went from probably a 9th, 8th place team in regular season, 9th place regular season team for summer, a 9th, 12th team ending in Proving Grounds spring.
Top 6?
Top 6. Proving Grounds.
It's so sick.
And they went
now
UGP as well. So
I just want to say I jumped on the Dignitas ship pretty early. So I'm proud of you guys for proving me right.
That's really all that matters on this show. You prove us right or not.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Misogyny.
I just want to go on and say I was also one of the first people to jump on the Chad Jungle ship.
You're the first person to know had him on your list.
Yeah. I hyped him up. I was ready.
In fact,
saw it in him. Speaking of the lists, I guess it's a good time as any. We are planning on getting one more out. We have confirmed with Tim that is planned. So hopefully that is soon. We will see. But for those list enjoyers out there.
No, I think that I mean, yeah, there's like only really good things I can say about PG this split. It's been really fun. I do want to talk about some of our favorite moments from playoffs, maybe a little bit of the best 5 today. I know that Rafa hasn't seen all the tape, but it was a rather short synopsis, and there's not a lot of tape until Game 5, because all 4 of those games were before 30 minutes. Team Liquid won 2 29.5-minute games. And then 100 Thieves won 2 of the most one-sided games I've ever seen in competitive League of Legends.
Wild.
As they were up, I think it was 6K gold at the 12-minute mark, which ended up to be 20K gold in the 22-minute game. And then they did it again in 24.5 minutes. And those two games, filthy games.
And those 2 games alongside Game 5 of Wildcard Golden Guardians, like, I can't believe that those games even happened in Proving Grounds.
That would have been FDEFT in scrims at 5. Like,
yeah.
That game at 5, I looked at Steve in my camera, and I just looked at him like, this game's over. Like, going to Game 4. Like, that was an obliteration that happened.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wonder what the script would sound like if TL like actually won Game 5. Because that would be one of the, like, it was almost like the smashings were so hard that like TLA like didn't need to like mentally recover after it, you know? It was like, hey, we lost that game in 5 minutes. Like, that was tough. Next one. Like, that was like literally like what the game was, right? Like,
yeah.
But
and like on match point too. Like if they lose that game, it's just over. ridiculous
GG.
stuff for 100. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff you'd expect from like round 1 of Proving Grounds, but it's literally grand final, so that was awesome. I was thinking about this while we were thinking about like things to say on this show. One of my favorite things that happened in all this Proving Grounds was actually Niall's Pantheon. That pick, he picked it multiple times. That was one of my favorite adaptations that was made for like all of the teams, because he would pick this into Camille, and you just like couldn't dive him anymore. I remember the first time they did this was
Pantheon
against Cloud9.
obliterates that lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time he did this was against Cloud9, where he was against Camille and Nidalee, where he was like, I'm going to get dove. I'm going to R5 Pantheon so they can't kill me because I'm just going to pop my E and then stun them. And it was so good. And then it was good in the next times that they picked it too. I was really impressed by that, because like I thought we were late enough that like all this adaptation wouldn't happen at this point. It'd be more solved, because that's usually how these things work. But it was like our own mini MF support that got pulled out. Obviously not as big as that, but
that was cool.
Shout out to Niles for that one. That one was awesome.
Are we doing like just this tournament, this split, this year?
Just the whole year.
Dude, mine, hands down, is the Shiro, that's right, Shiro, Callista Hold versus Dignitas in that series.
Oh,
do you remember that? They were down like 9k gold, and he just 3v5'd in the base on Callista?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was, for me, I like, once I saw that moment, because like I was on the Team Luke greater than Shiro train, and then I saw that, and I'm like, I'm so fucking wrong. Like,
that was
unreal.
That was PG Spring, right?
Yes, unbelievable. That for me, that was like still, it is still to this day like my favorite moment of the split, like, or of the year. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
What was that, like the second week? Or let me see.
That also Zeus beating TSM, because it was the first amateur team to win.
That was so cool.
We all
and
knew.
they had the toilet paper cat on the league client and everything. Yep. What a good day. That day was so fun.
It was a great day.
Oh, man. Like, I remember Doc being so traumatized.
So TSM just lost to a team with toilet paper cats as their logo. And like Twitter was abrupt, and we're like all just looking at each other, because like if you followed amateur in spring, you knew that amateur was like going to do like really well. Like if you like actually watch the games and know something about the games, you're like, you know, I think the level of competition for amateur is lower, but they're making really good decisions across the map. Like we all kind of knew, and Zeus, of course, beating them was like, boom,
that was like, so good.
And then Norg won. And then Resolve won, and like half the amateur teams won in round 1 against like big time upsets.
Man, that stuff is so cool. That's the kind of thing that makes me hope that they do make it so amateur teams play academy teams in round 1 next time, because those are like the most memorable things. Like the fucking Resolve Seed 2 curse. Like that's so awesome. That is like the coolest like meme curse thing that has ever existed in like the academy space, I think.
Wasn't cool for Cloud9 this summer, but
well, yeah. Bummer for C9, bummer for Team Liquid, even more in the spring. But like that's just so funny. They just come in seed 15, upset the tournament favorites 2-0 both times. Oh my god. Dude, I'm convinced that if Resolve like is the best team, like if that team is the best team in amateur and they like win the whole thing.
Here, I'm doing this real quick so that I might have just fucked everything for Covey.
You definitely might have.
I'm so sorry.
Are we doing a highlight reel?
Are we watching the stream?
I was pulling up the moment for Cubby, the one that he's talking about.
The Shiro one? Hold on. I will make a new scene. Really?
Yeah, just
really
make a new scene. Just full screen this shit, and then I'll fix everything. I'm so sorry for scuffing everything.
You're welcome over here. Hey guys.
I just woke up from a nap. the big
We're doing
Guys,
it live.
I'm
Yeah.
still here.
I just want to let you all know that I did fucking I was on a
All right, I got it.
you got it. Yeah.
Transitioning.
I'm
All right,
really
it's beautifully scuffed.
okay. Let's go.
Oh no.
If
Okay,
we were able
okay,
to get
okay,
the
it's
bottom inhibitor for EGP,
Oh,
that'd
Oh,
be
Ravish is
so
Ravish is
grim
casting
for them.
it.
This is looking, this is looking grim. However,
Ravish is
Shiro
stupid.
is split pushing
There's
right now. This is a
Dimitri.
time for them to go in. They find it on Totomio.
He's already gone, and now JG left the gold under tower to Popsy. Everfrost can stun up 2 people, but Shiro might be able to find one at
Yep, then
least
it
to
goes
get
bot,
back
it goes
JG.
bot, it goes
So
bot.
a little bit
Yeah,
of Carter
this is
there
the whip
lost.
part.
Dirty.
Shorty looking for an engage. Popsy gets not Cadian. Does a lot of damage, but doesn't matter.
my God.
Umbro trespass will put him back to the
Watch this
base.
shit, watch this
Right
shit,
where he
watch
can.
this shit.
Shockwave
Shockwave.
bouncing in and out of the fight. The
Look at him
Shockwave
use
does
the
a little
minion.
bit
Use the minion
dirty.
to get the
Sorry, but
reset.
Shiro too. Bouncing in and out of the fight, putting us so
Oh,
much
Shiro!
damage. Not being able to film and pops another member too, trying to save this game, and he saves the base of EGP. You
Oh
live to
my
see another
God.
day.
Him using
The
that
rising
minion,
star
like I
of
literally had that
EGP
reaction.
saved them
Oh my
a
God, I was
few
like, how
minutes
good
in
is
this game
dude,
versus
like,
Dignitas.
actually, how good is this
Loser.
guy? So yeah, that's pretty insane.
And on that day,
All right,
EG was
end
like,
the stream. There we
you
go.
know, what if we promote this guy to LCS? Thoughts? Thoughts?
I think you can do it.
I think he could do it.
Oh man. That's so nasty.
That play was stupid filthy. I still remember that shit.
Dude, he had so many crazy moments.
The Samira
Like
Pennas.
just the one player. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Just the fact that there are multiple
Notice
of them.
how I casually said the Samira Pentas, and like we all just knew at the tournament, like the stage.
Oh yeah.
Shiro with the
Like all the
Samira.
Kaisa games too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dude, I
Shiro
missed
Kaisa.
I missed on the Galio in all those games at the same time.
Rafa, you got any standout or favorite moments from PG this year?
You know, I have one from spring, and I have one from summer. Actually,
Hell yeah. Let's hear 'em.
okay. All right.
Story
Well,
time.
I have an honorable mention for spring because for me the most memorable moment was being on the grand finals desk with
Oh, yeah.
Tigress and Emily Rand and being able to witness No Org win
Obliterate.
that
Yeah.
win that final and then being able to hype up Ross. I'm really glad that out of all the people that we could have brought on the desk that I pushed for value to be on the desk because you know it's so easy to I mean Viper and Anda are getting a ton of praise. Five Fire has always been getting a ton of praise. And then I was like I think Big deserves the MVP for that series. And value should come on the desk. And it just meant a lot to give a lot of spotlight and love to a couple of the players that were overshadowed by the top half of the map, you know, and it's not like they were it's the way that the team compositions always played out. It played towards top strong side in the top half of the map and being able to demonstrate the growth and development of not only Big throughout the entire spring but also for value and still being such a solid foundation and
Yeah.
rock
Yeah.
that the team could always
I'm so
rely
proud
on.
of value.
Yeah. That's the honorable mention. My favorite moment from spring. It was in this moment that I realized well it was between multiple Jinx Baron steals and Dragon steals that this guy had. It was between multiple times when I thought you know Madimu was the only person that was trying to save Supernova. Strampus was sometimes looking for him, but for the spring roster. And then I saw this game between Winthrop and Supernova, and Array just fucking busted this sick-ass quadra kill in the base defense. And
Oh, the Winthrop game.
yeah.
Dude, your
in
call
the-
on that was so cool too, because like you literally just like forgot words, and then you like got back in, you're like, oh, like it was something like that. It was so cool. It was like it felt so authentic, and you're like, because we were all just like freaking the fuck out.
Because we were like, I remember you going, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
Just because Winthrop literally, it's like 4 people to 1, and somehow Array just pulls off a solo-based defense.
I remember that now.
From that moment on, I was like, "Yo, Array's got to be like the next best fucking ADC to come into the next split of Proving Ground."
It's funny too, because like none of us were like talking about Array, and then we're like, who do you think are like good players and like bad teams? Like a discussion we had with like a peer who like had access to like Array's POVs, and they were like, "Oh, dude, Array, like you gotta check out Array in team fights." Like, that was like the first thing we heard from this individual, and then like since then we're like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good."
Yeah. Did you see his pentakill today?
No, I was casting, but I saw his quads this weekend or the past weekend on Harrisburg. He's ripping up collegiate.
His team 3-1'd Maryville in the finals on the EG stream today.
Not surprised.
And he closed the series with a pentakill.
And that's what I'm
Tigers
saying.
casted it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. I think that's one of my favorite moments of growth from spring to summer, because in 2020 I don't even know if I ever heard of Array before or knew where he came from, right? And when Supernova put their roster together, Array was on the roster, and I was just like, okay, cool. Array and G Bunny, G Bunny coming from, what was it, Paladins, right? And I just looked at this as like, okay, well, Matty Moo's got Strompests, maybe they can 2v8 it together. And I realized by the end how disrespectful I was to Array, and I was like, oh shit, okay, Array, with some time can become really good. He's really strong in team fights. Laning phase just needs some improvement. And then he goes to Resolve, and a lot of people are like, oh well, compared to Gorka, Array is maybe a side grade at best. That's
finish it. I've got a great memory. Keep on going.
I also have one.
And now look at this guy kicking ass on University of St. Thomas, man. And even by the end, Resolve make a huge push compared to their results in summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's nuking them.
Like, here's what I want. I hope that the St. Thomas roster stays together by next year, because I want to see St. Thomas. No?
No fucking way.
I mean, okay. So, what do you mean? Like, if they're the best in collegiate, I would want to see them.
If Array's on St. Thomas in spring, kind of sad. I'm be real. That's all.
He's going to academy, bro.
Okay. My bad.
He's going to scouting grounds.
Well, what I'm trying to say is I would have loved to see this roster of University of St. Thomas. Like, if we could have gotten this earlier in the year, I would have loved to see them play in Proving Grounds and see how they would have stacked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of personal bias because Kitsu and Robbie Bob are on there, but
we are we're getting word that we're boosting Array's ego too much. So I've got a memory that will bring him down to earth.
Hold on.
Okay.
I get a quick one.
All right.
Remember Spring PG and all the fucking Jinx Baron steals for AM?
Yeah.
That was when you started talking about the Array pop-offs. I started thinking like the Gorka Jinx pop-offs. Do you remember how many dragons and Barons were stolen by fucking Jinx?
There were like 15 of them.
To the point where, like, do you remember the one series, the second round of PG, where the one team against Jinx had like 3 people body blocking in the Baron pit to make sure that the Jinx couldn't take Baron?
And then I remember the 3 of us were watching LCS as well, and it happened there. We were like, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
And the cast is like popping off, and we're just like, no, that's just what happens.
So many. Like, I think 15 is like a realistic number with all the games that we had. It was absurd.
No, like there was in the
there were
last match
in some games too.
I remember when me and Smax did an off-stream Wisdom Spring Gauntlet for Supernova versus Dig Mig.
That's what I was about to bring up.
And I was like, oh god, like, Dignitas are really in the lead. They're probably gonna win this game, and then Array stole the Baron with Jing, so we're just like, what the fuck is this game? man. Oh my god.
I was about to bring that cast up. That was my favorite memory from spring. Was that broadcast between Supernova and Dignitas.
Oh yeah.
Because we didn't know if we were going to be able to stream that game.
Oh yeah.
It was looking like it was going to be a 2-0, and then it wasn't. And then we messaged the teams. I think I remember we were talking to Deos, right? And he was like, "No, we're good. Get in here. Come cast the game." So we booted up Mark's stream, and we got in there, and we were like setting the stakes and everything, and it was a banger. That game was awesome. I had the Dragoon Smash call too from that one.
Smash!
You guys were doing a bunch of stupid shit because it was on your stream. That was fun as hell.
That was awesome.
Calmer gets
And I
like
remember
50 subs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rafa
That was
made
the
like
first time
goated stacks off doing
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
I started crying on stream too.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
and then you had a charity thing afterwards. It was a great day. That was a
Yeah.
good one.
That was a
I
really
remember
awesome night.
I think it was Kari who described it as like everybody in like the amateur space just like gathered around the like the tiny screen in the room or something, and everyone was like popping
Yeah, pretty
off.
much. Yeah.
That was
I
so
forgot
cool.
about that day. See, this is why we gotta do shit like this. This is fun.
Yeah.
What was some other like good moments from like PG? I think the new
So-
ruling, it kind of sucked, but that was a moment.
Mm,
Are there any?
Damn.
What was your favorite like bad shit moment that like happened where it's like shit hit the fan, and like the one that you like look back on and it's like, oh, like that's kind of funny now, or like, oh, this is like amazingly like fucking tragic.
Yeah, this still sucks because I don't think they've been paid, but I remember everyone just coming to shit on Oddity when he streamed that one time after the
Oh,
ruling came out,
yeah.
and he was just like he's like
Oh.
playing Apex Legends, and he had like hundreds of viewers, and everyone was just like shitting on him in the
Wait,
Twitch chat.
okay, I remember that. Do you remember the stream that Return did, where we talked to
Oh
like
my
their entire
God.
ownership committee? And
Oh,
I was,
and he like interviewed them. Oh,
Yeah.
and I was
God.
fun fact.
Oh,
I was stuck in that call. I just
Yeah, you
hopped
were
in. I
there.
didn't know. Return's like, dude,
Weren't
you
you,
want
like,
to hop
super
on my
high?
stream and just like talk like about like the new amateur format? I was like, hell yeah! And like 5 minutes later, I'm in a room with like all the Soul Fide members. Just like, I did not sign up for this. I was just chilling. It was not good. It was a bad time.
yeah. Oh God.
If we want to talk about tragic moments, I think. All right, so I got two that come from one each are separate seasons of Challengers Uprising. The first tragic moment is season 2, where
The touchdown.
the the internet going out for Barrage, and it's
oh
like
my god.
that's how game 5 ends. That's how game 5 ends. Internet goes out,
Oh
and
god.
Dude.
Barrage are mentally boomed. Like, this is the worst
That was a
fucking
bummer.
timeline. And because of that, they stayed up super late trying to resolve everything. And then they have to play UGP the next day, and
Where they got
get
boomed.
knocked,
Yeah.
and
They
they
got
get
boomed
boomed
out.
by Cloud9
Oh,
Amateur.
dude. How did I not recall this as my favorite PG moment? My favorite PG moment was
APA?
Core JJ co-streaming Proving
APA?
Grounds.
APA?
And there is just that magical clip. The magical clip I have. I'll tweet it out right now. If you're watching this live, I'm going to reclip this on Twitter. APA, I'm sorry. But it's a 34-second clip where APA has like one of the worst outplays I've seen from him all year. And he gets outplayed by Speedo, who is not playing well in the spring, let's be real. And Core JJ watches this in, and then the best part about the clip are the rage quit mechanics that Core JJ possesses. He rage quits the stream in like 4 seconds total. Like, out of full screen, we find the X immediately, and we instantly tune into the other stream, where a player with the IGN of really big meme on Core JJ's stream. He just goes to this stream where RBM is playing Lee Sin, who no one fucking played, by the way. Like, they R1 Lee Sin, and we're all like, what the shit?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And he gets a tower dive off on Lee Sin, and this motherfucker, one of the best supports in the world, just goes, yeah, really big beam, gotta kill, and he like dies like the turret. It's the greatest clip of all time. I've never been so enthusiastic about 34 seconds of internet media. This is the only time in my life that I will say I want to make this an NFT and own it for an absurd amount of money, because it is the best piece of content that exists.
Oh god.
All right,
That
it's
was a
29
good one.
seconds. It's on the Twitter sphere, though.
Oh.
Oh my god. That the other, like, this is more of a, I'm not ashamed of the segment that I ran, because I know it's kind of bullying, but I was like, it was the one game where Dignitas Mirage were, I don't know who they were playing against, but Trevor Roy pulls out Morgana, and they see a late they see a late invade, and Trevor Roy is supposed to be like a Morgana specialist, right?
Oh god, this was
And
tough.
it was the 5-man late invade, and he just throws out a binding for no fucking reason. He just
That was
throws it
tough.
out. And if you're Morgana level 1 and you just throw out your binding,
And they like
fucking
instantly like Q flashed her.
yeah, they immediately like, oh shit, okay, fuck this guy,
Oh, he's
dude.
hinting.
Yeah.
I forgot about
It's-
that.
And I told Smax, you've been a host before. Can I be an analyst for this next segment? And I just showed the slideshow
I remember that.
PowerPoint where the dark binding goes out, and I just
That
drew a
was
bunch of
so
cool
funny.
Yo, that's when we didn't have access to replays, so we had to get creative
Yeah.
with the ship that we
Yeah.
used.
That
And
was
you made
so
a fucking
funny.
PowerPoint about why you should have queued. That was some good broadcasting. That was good shit.
That
yeah.
was amazing. Oh.
Yeah, that's a
That-
fun
that-
fact. Sometimes we have like limitations, like what we could do on broadcast. That was an example where like there was a limitation, and Rob is like,
Yeah.
"I got an idea."
Yeah.
This
We got a
was
slide,
really funny.
and I was just like, next slide, please.
We were like OBS ninjing like to the producers to like get it on the stream. Yeah, that was cracked.
As you can see, he's got a laser pointer. As you can see here.
We are 1 minute
Trevor
and 20 seconds into the
decides-
game.
Trevor decides that this is the best time to throw Dark Binding. Next slide. Here you can see why that was the wrong decision. You get all the pings.
It's true. His team was question mark picking up.
It was so good, man.
Oh man,
Oh no.
this shit's too much
Oh.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Ugh.
that segment kind of reminded me of like why I enjoyed doing the desk with you guys back in season 1 of
That was
Challengers
fun.
Uprising, because we get to do
Just do stupid shit.
yeah
Ugh.
Yeah,
shit like that.
we did some the infomercial.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, this has just become a reminiscing session at this point, but yeah.
I thought that's what this was.
It's been a
This
good
was
time.
For PG.
review.
That's 2020 SGC.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what else was I gonna bring up? The Supernova booming CLG was memorable. That's from this.
Oh
board.
yeah. Oh, you know
yeah.
what? I
He's
got
getting
something
married,
to show
though.
you all. That's super dope.
Oh,
man.
did Rafa get the drip? Wait, okay.
Oh, he's got the poster.
Yo, you got it framed?
Dude,
Yo,
he got the
this is
poster.
sweet. That's
That's
great.
pretty cool.
Dude, how'd you get that? Did they like give you one?
Yeah, they had it as like a merch thing.
Oh my god, dude, I tempted to get one. That's actually super cool.
Yeah, Valley designed that, and people liked it enough to where they just put it up there.
I might have
That's
to
so
get one
cool.
of those. That's pretty cool. I wrote that headline.
Yeah.
Shit.
Now it's on Mark's wall.
It's on whose
Mark
store is it?
Wahlberg. I think Supernovas. I think.
I'm gonna go order one right now.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
T Combs. I wrote that headline.
Yeah, you should ask Tyler if you could get it
Yeah,
for free
just-
because you wrote it. You should ask him.
Or at least a discount. I mean, like the I'm willing to pay because Valley made a sick ass poster.
Going to
with it,
find
so.
T. Oh, I got his Twitter. Send him a message.
Oh, am I late on the meta of getting things for free? Is that what you're accusing me of?
I have another memory that for me, it was going. I know EGL was super controversial for the way it ended, and the decision to go for the third place match streaming over the actual finals of the event, but I think that I think the lead up to it, of getting to see 100 Thieves bringing in Chad and Gamsu.
That's true.
And seeing and witnessing the birth of like Chad in this light, and just seeing like how awesome and how cracked he is.
That whole drama
then
shit like undercut a good story, right?
Yeah.
It's like, like that was like everyone was like, holy shit, like 100X like actually did it. Like we didn't think they'd be able to do it, but they actually did it. Like that was pretty sweet. And the game they took off Wildcard Red, I saw that Raafaa file on my PC.
That was good.
They put that really well. The Warn
his
comp,
his Kha'Zix was absolutely fucking insane.
They were genuinely very close to beating Wildcard.
Game 3 was close as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got
They
kind
could
of
have
toasted
been like
games 1 and 4.
2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got fucking toasted game 1. But
yeah.
No, like they played it serious well.
Yeah. And it's I wish that because there's a lot of things that like misunderstandings between the TOs, the administrators, and what the amateur scene wanted versus what the players could actually do. Because originally, EGL wanted to stream the matches starting in the afternoon and then going into the evening, which would have allowed...
Would have been 2 a day.
It would have been 2, like, best of 5s a day. And so what could have happened is because the amateur scene just, like, went up in flames and said, how dare EGL try to start streaming matches at, like, 12 p.m. PT? It won't work. You guys are stupid. How could you ever think that way? And he's just like, okay, sorry, our bad, And they took that in stride, and they made the adjustment. We're only going to do 1 series starting in the late evening, and we're not going to go too late because we know that there are people on the East Coast. So when they get to the finals weekend, and there's a choice to be made between third place and first place, it was brought up, what if we do it earlier in the day, like the third place match, and then end with the finals and see if that can be done. But then the administration's like, well, amateur scene roasted us and made it clear that they don't want things done earlier in the day, and it's like, and it's too late
amateur scene roasting people.
And that is like,
it's getting too real.
Yeah, I'm not saying EGL was perfect, but they got way more shit than what they should have done, and it's just.
If it's going to be like a for real downer, like the for real downer is that there were 2 companies that heavily invested in putting on a tournament that don't want to do it anymore because of the community. Like that's like, I was given like kind of like, oh, like downers where I look back and it's like, oh, like that's funny. And like, that's like actually a true one. Like that's actually, that was a super big bummer about this year.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not laughing at this but I'm bringing up because I think it has to be addressed, and it's something that we will address going into next year as well. And
I don't think the scene understands like how much money those orgs invested into making the best show that like we could help with. And like, I guess we're a little bit biased in this, but they put a lot of money into like trying their best. Yeah,
they got Degon for it.
They put a lot of money into like trying to put their best foot forward and like put on a good show, and it was kind of like underwritten by the community by like a couple like airs about how the tournament was ran. That's like where it lands. And like I feel like the first, like the prior, could be easily fixed, and money in the scene in the long run is good. But that's not the call that was like made. And really sad that like we have it on pretty good terms from like both orgs. Like they did not want to touch the league, and it's just because there was a visceral reaction by the community, which it's actually something that we have to be aware of, like moving forward. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's not good in the long run.
And it's something that needs to be clear. Like you can give criticism to the decision that Wisdom made in the moment with their situation. You can give criticism to EGL with the decision they made in their situation as well. And you know what? You know, like I don't take judgment against that. The way you go about doing it and making those organizations feel unwelcome and never wanted after spending 10 times, 50 times the amount of money that any other fucking organization can afford, not even wanting, afford to give to the amateur scene, you are like shitting on a potential hand that would have fed the scene, that would have invested and actually made the scene more profitable in the future. And by doing that, it is like it's just such a disappointing overreaction. Like
that
like
sucked.
Everyone's valid in their feelings, but lacking the emotional maturity to see what happens when I react this way. What happens when I do this? Sure, I get them out because, oh yeah, I don't like them. I don't want them here because they don't obviously care. They do care. They felt like shit afterwards. And that's why they don't want to come back, because they feel like they're going to fuck it up. And if that is going to be the way we treat every single organization that wants to put money into the scene, then no one is ever going to want to invest into Proving Grounds or into amateur at all. Like, do you think Risen is going to ever have the money to, like, be able to do what EGL or Wisdom tried to do? No.
Not soon.
Yeah.
Definitely not soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sucks. Like in the long run, that sucks.
It does.
We say that not to flame Risen. Like we've all helped out with Risen, like help build that. But we say that because like we know the investment that like those orgs put in, and monetarily it's better for the big one in the long run. If Risen is a small budget show, they do a great job. But it's better to get more money flowing through this in general. Like it's needed.
And I feel like if that situation happens again next year, please, for the love of God, show a little more understanding so that you don't just push them away. And because this it's supposed to be about compromise and understanding instead of just being like
it's not even that. Like, let's not limit money flowing through the space.
Yeah.
Like, I think by like stupid decisions or like responses to things.
In retrospect, I think people were on their guard after League That Will Not Be Named.
Oh, okay, that's actually totally reasonable. And
sure.
Big was completely unacceptable as well. That's actually a decent point. And
I mean,
there is a history of like
money,
AM
so
being burned by
orgs
orgs in the past.
Yeah, for Wisdom, I think that
better
has a pretty reasonable excuse, because there was just like a huge bad hurricane storm that happened with Big League.
I mean, that's like also why we were all skeptical about Solo Fide, because like teams have burned people in the past before, and like unfortunately, because of like history, we kind of have our guard up overall.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, no, Big was such a meme. I felt so bad. Like we literally finished Risen, where we got paid the same amount as them, or like slightly more. And we were like, we don't want to deal with Big because like it's gonna boom, and then it boomed like worse than any of us thought, and like most of those games like lost to dust, which is really pathetic.
Yeah, because you had some banger storylines in there. That was where
that was the first tournament that Norg won.
Yeah, and that was the rise of No Org for the spring.
Also when the ruling happened. Yeah.
Also, Revival came in second. Like
Revival was like a really cool underdog team that came out of nowhere.
They played mid jungle duo. Cyber Subs pretty good.
They let Cyber play Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. That was wild.
Oh, they also like hand made the bracket, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember the
They had
seeding
seeded.
for like the groups and everything? How they completely randomized it.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
man, I will say
I thought that was gonna be the worst of it.
when Big reached out to me to be on the broadcast for that, I was like, here's the thing. When Risen reached out to us, and even though like Risen doesn't have that much money, going into Proving Grounds, I was willing to still do Risen because one,
we wanted to get on the
Rando
other
Jo-
shows.
yeah, well, Rando Joe is probably one of the most hardworking TOs in the space, and even I don't know if Rando Joe is still like trying to be within the space for long term because I know he just finished his degree. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, that org
this
runs
year.
like net
That's awesome.
positive. They're super helpful.
Yeah,
Like,
Risen is like by far the best grassroots org that has like came from nothing, still kind of has nothing, but they have like the heart and soul of a lot of amateur because they have so much respect for how much of their time is put into it.
They certainly have. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, no salary whatsoever. Rando Joe reached out to all of us that were on the Risen broadcast like late November, a solid month and a half before.
have we ever like
Risen
talked about this
started.
on a podcast before? Because that November, like, I guess we could kind of talk about it now. That was fucking
We could.
crazy. 'Cause
Yeah,
we were hearing
was
some
insane.
wild rumors about.
And we were
what
still
Proving
doing
Grounds was
scouting
gonna
grounds
be.
at that point.
we had just finished with Scouting Grounds.
We
Yeah.
were hearing
actually.
some wild rumors. Like,
They were all true.
they were not all true, but
Oh, they
most
weren't
of them
all?
were.
I guess I'm forgetting some. That
It
weren't
was
true,
like which orgs the tier ones would be.
Oh
like,
yeah.
We
You're
were
right,
hearing
you're right.
like the tier ones, like it was gonna be like legit. At one point, like we heard the licensing fee was like maybe like 6 digits. Like we were hearing wild shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it turned out to be.
There was-
or not the licensing because
Yeah.
I think licensing was 25K. But when you like hear about how much money people had to invest to do it,
Yeah. When Zazel,
Proving
like,
Grounds could have been very different.
Zazel and like all those guys simultaneously like tweeted out that like contract image, and we're all like, "Oh, dude, like what an academy team!" And then someone's like,
Who signed all these guys to Academy?
"That's not an academy team." We're like, "What?
Yeah.
What?" Like it was wild. Like all this scaled up so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I didn't realize this become just like a piss chill like reminisce. It's like, oh shit, we're just recording something. Like
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look back
we haven't talked
on
about this in a long ass time.
yeah, if you look back on how everything started, I mean, from an individual standpoint, I know that like I didn't know what was going to be the future for semi-professional North America or at all. I was ready
Ready
be
to
gone.
retire.
I was ready to be gone. And then Sabe, Joe all reached out and said, "Yo, you should come back. There's some cool shit that's about to go down." And
Okay, can we share like what like the one thing that like fell through was with like that project?
Yes.
Oh,
we
sure.
should. We
Yeah.
absolutely should.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
it-
We haven't shared that.
well,
yet.
okay.
It was weird. We had some crazy rumors flying around.
Realistically, it could happen next year. Maybe. Probably. not.
No. I don't want to go this far. And like, and there was like at one point where we had like a company contact us saying like Riot might sell out the contract to like do socials and content for this new league. And so like,
Oh,
at
that's
one-
not what I thought you were gonna say.
No, yeah. Like at one point, like that's a project like we were working on like in November. Because like
Yeah.
they're like that was a part of like the crazy rumors like we were hearing like they were gonna like show out for this, and it ended up like being what it is what it is now. But we were hearing some wild shit. Like we didn't do anything close to that. It actually
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kind of evolved into this because like we offered up to like do a podcast like 2 a week.
Yeah. That's actually where we decided because so to take it for a bit, Cubby, we basically told the person who we were like discussing all this with, we were like, we're gonna do a podcast whether you do it with us or not.
It was just
like-
whether they give us funding and a sponsor or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like it get like
And-
promoted on like Riot channels or not. That's like what we were kind of
Right.
discussing. Like or what the
And it
org was
didn't end
saying
up,
they were discussing with Riot. They were just telling us this.
Didn't end up happening, so hence this. That's why you've got this.
Yeah.
And then for the summer split, we were like, how do we get Rafa Because that's always a good question
And
to
like
ask.
people in the live chat are saying like to spill it. I can't even spill it because like the company never actually became a company. Like
Yeah.
that's like how wild this shit was. They were like only going to become a company if they got this contract. So like it was crazy like going into spring, and that's why spring was like kind of fucked. But it was also kind of beautiful because we were on all the tier ones. Like we had 6 weeks straight of good work like between the tier ones and like PG, which was the first time that it ever happened for any of us. So that was cool too.
It was our season. We went from, I mean, I know that Cubby and Smax were pretty much in there, like, had just come
It was
off
still
their
our first year.
Yeah, our like pretty much your rookie years of casting.
Story time now.
Because Cubby got his debut with Big League, and then Smax got his debut into
When it wasn't
Uprising.
Yeah, it sounds so bad
when
now.
Big League
XT
well, so the funny
awesome.
thing is that at season 3, Big League was
starting to
coming off of their best season in season 2, where they actually had an in-studio cast. They done probably the best Scouting Grounds tournament all of 2019, and they even used that studio to produce and cast the ICC for 2019, where Maryville went to the grand finals, which was super dope. Shame they didn't win, but it was so super close. Now, going into season 3, everyone who was a part of that had it in their mind that, Big League is supposed to be like the best amateur broadcast that you can get on, which is why those that got on it were super excited to be on it that hadn't been on there before. So like, and XT, God bless his heart and God bless his soul, like he tried so hard to make it the best broadcast ever, and then the Big League admins just fucking dipped, and they were just like, nope,
peace,
goodbye, peace, see ya. And XT is just losing his mind and sanity trying to salvage it all, and we're just like, yeah, I guess we can't do anything. So Big League still was season 3 was like a decent, tournament, but then Challengers Uprising in terms of production, in terms of content, then became by far the most memorable and the best. Say what you will about the best of 2s for the regular seasons. We had the best fucking production in the broadcast, hands down. We got to do the coolest shit, and that was for Cubby and Smax, almost their first foray into amateur broadcasts. And if you look back on how their casting and their performance was from season 2020 to now, I'll just say like now, you and Smax, you and Cubby were fucking shit in 2020 compared to what you guys look like now. Like if I looked back,
I better be better.
Yeah, and I mean,
I didn't work this hard to be worse.
You guys are 20 times better back. I'm still shit. So like, I
no.
But
it's cool to remember too that in the summer, the 3 of us and Mazel and Rebel Fox all got onto Academy regular season first time.
Yeah,
like they actually
Rebel Fox also had a great. Turnout.
I mean, Mazel's doing LPL, man.
Yeah,
like we're popping off. And
Mazel, yeah. So like Rebel Fox went from like doing, I think he did Big League season 3, and then he did some Upsurge stuff. And I remember Destrux was telling me that like Rebel Fox was going to be a strong color caster when he first discovered him, and he just needed to work on like building a brand and just enhancing his like changing up his vocal modulations and whatnot. And and now I don't think we got like the best Rebel Fox during spring, but summer it's been a huge improvement. And then Mazel, I think the only thing that he did last year, he wasn't on Big. He didn't do. Maybe he did some stuff for UPL because he was Lemon back then. He didn't name change to Mazel until going into this year, because I remember he had asked me about mic recommendations as well, and he wanted to start a whole new like brand change, and then it gets into LPL, and then he starts doing more and more stuff for Proving Grounds, and I think Mazel is on his way to becoming one of the best casters in the East if he continues and commits to LPL.
He's in the West, man. He's not the East yet.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's
Come
worldwide.
Hey,
He's Pitbull.
No, that's
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. 305.
That's Goldberg. Man.
Well,
Come on.
okay.
Mr.
I mean,
Worldwide.
I like me and Kangas and Magical and Desperate are trying to compete with Mazel. We got to keep him humble in the West, you know. But you know, but you know, jokes aside, you know, I'm really proud of Mazel. And I think he has a real shot to, like, if LPL actually allows him to commit and he can, like, stay in LPL, he will be like a fucking household name in that scene, and he will get asked to come to the next Worlds, like, fucking guaranteed.
Yeah. I agree.
Man's got a voice in live events that just fucking shakes people to the core.
Yeah, dude.
Is.
You Cubby got to cast with him in person. It's so cool.
I got to host with him in person.
That's true. Man,
I didn't
you
realize
guys
he was
get
gonna
cool
become a cast
lands.
call.
It's my turn next. Okay? Okay, everyone? My turn next.
I'm trying to think of, like, the other crazy shit that, like, happened with, like, teams players from, like, the first couple, like, the spring or the summer. Like, RBM, but going from, like, playing TFT to League was pretty fucking funny.
Oh, dude, I loved RBM's
Him and Zeno,
journey.
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Smax, do you remember the VOD that we saw of,
Yes.
like, RBM's one of his first games, and
Lock
he just
screen
played
Udyr for a
lock
series.
screen Udyr on Zeus, and we're just like, dude, this player's no way he's good. He's playing lock screen Udyr. This is just
He
so
was challenger in
He-
TFT.
He wasn't good yet.
But
He was
the
getting
amount
there.
of
He was a Lilia
progression and
abuser.
growth he made in such a rapid amount of time, like,
Yeah.
caught me off guard. Because going from lock screen Udyr Hecarim to then
It was
pulling
literally
out,
lock screen. Like, we are not exaggerating when
Yeah.
you say it was
Yeah.
lock screen. It was lock screen.
Oh, it was so funny.
and then he pulls out Lee Sin in game 1 in their debut in UGP, and he's invading, and he's, like, just harassing the shit out of I think it was Supernova. Oh my god, I'm just like, who's this? This
What a
isn't
glow up.
RBM. Nick, this can't be. And then, yeah, he and AoE had a pretty damn good run as an amateur team.
You know what? I think there are a lot of reasons why I'll never forget this Proving Grounds year. But one thing that I think is easy to overlook at this point, now that it's been a while and it didn't have, like, a super big impact other than the first, like, explosion, was how, like, just how many players came out of 100 Thieves Next to get into Academy for this split.
Yeah,
Or
at this
for
point they
last
can
split
just
and then this entire year.
they can just set up a fucking factory for how many players they're just producing that
Like-
is now Academy ready at the very least. In some cases, LCS.
It's so crazy, man. Like, I mean,
NXI.
Poom just won. Poom just
Yeah,
won.
and he just beat Yon, who's
Proving
also
Grounds.
from the team.
Yeah, and Jan was in the top as well. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man.
The finals featured, like, multiple 100 Thieves players, you know, on both squads, which is, like, insane. And if you think about
it would have been
Aca-
Kempi Tenacity there too.
100 Thieves was present not only in Proving Grounds finals, but also Academy finals, because you had Jan from TLA and Copy for C9 Academy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, 100 Thieves next class of 2020, I thought was goated, and I mean, they're still goated, but you look at this class that comes in as well, and, like,
Busio Instinct.
Busio Instinct. I mean, like,
Unironically, Cozy is playing decent in collegiate.
yeah.
That's true.
Chad
And,
goes from
yeah, Chad won the whole thing, man.
Yeah, Chad
so
wins the whole
cool.
thing.
I
I
don't
think
really want to
Young
put
is
Gomstone
also
there, but you know.
yeah, Young is also really good as well, and he's. I felt really bad for Instinct and in Young because
Their roster did get cannibalized. They still made it.
It really
they,
did.
I mean they
There's 3 players in 2 tournaments.
well
Yeah.
yeah, like I will say if that roster had more time, I think I'm not sold on gluten-free Panda, but I think Dinka in some of the games that he has subbed for other amateur rosters throughout the summer. Yeah, Dinka's.
I will say, I think you are somewhat sleeping on Panda. I think it's good to remember his impact on Wildcard in the spring. Like he did help them get there, and he was a big reason why the series that they had in the spring Proving Grounds were competitive. Because they did take games off of both of their opponents in spring. They still ended in the last place, but
you know, I should listen to you because the last time I doubted you on 100 Thieves next jungler, he just happened to win all of Proving Grounds. So like, I should just shut.
Actually,
my mouth at this point.
Actually, that happened twice. Do you remember NXI as well? That happened twice.
I didn't doubt you specifically. And there's no way that you're going to fucking gaslight and be like, oh yeah, NXI is really good. I know about NXI. Because I knew that NXI had come from a TSM junior boot camp. When they were first like finding a roster when Zix was still on the organization and trying to form.
I'm not saying that I knew who he was. I'm saying that after I watched him play that first series on 100 Next, I was like, this guy's fucking good. They're going to do well. And I was right.
I think we all did. Because his opening series was playing
I remember
Kha'Zix and
that was cool.
and AP Gragas to like god tier levels, and
there were a lot of doubters because he was replacing Kenvi, of course. But,
I mean, well, like it's so hard to think that like, oh yeah, like how do you replace Kenvi, especially with the split that he's had, and then imagine if Chad was in the same place where it's like, dude, how can you replace NXI? There's just no fucking way. And then Chad comes in and man, 100 Thieves just really good at spotting good junglers.
Can we talk about how Jojo Piano went 1-10 and 10-1 on the same best of 2? Great moment from this last split.
Yeah, I love JoJo. I can't wait. Like
only, man.
I can't wait to see him next year. There are like a ton of players.
The potential is there.
Are now just like crashing onto me that I won't get to see them play for like 4 fucking months. It's very sad.
So, I'm gonna throw out something as a way to be our potential last topic of the evening, because
we've just been chilling.
one of my longtime friends, and one of the people that actually encouraged me to start casting is in the chat, actually. Rain, aka Reina. Back in 2017, when I was just like fucking around, mock casting our in-houses, she and a bunch of others were like, Rafa, you're not bad. You should continue trying to do this, right? And then she led me to First Blood Discord, where I met Kitsuo and Robbie Bob and a bunch of Hypertension and people that basically not only got me involved in the amateur scene, but also just started my whole casting career.
I did not know this backstory.
Anyway, she asked just a random question: which player on an amateur team right now will make an academy shift like Viper and Anda did to Immortals Thieves, Immortals Academy? So I want to preface this.
Pick one.
No. I wouldn't say pick one. What I want to say is that we were expecting that by the end of Proving Grounds spring, there should have been a ton of players from the teams that could have made an argument to be on an academy team already by then.
But
only 2 came because to make such a shift
And
going into
mid-season
summer.
contracts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mid-season contracts are hard to get involved. And to their credit, for Viper and Anda to have come in, they had to get rid of Tally or Tapoon
and Potluck.
and Potluck.
And they weren't in LA for like a month.
Tao was going to Worlds, fun fact. Keep on going.
Yeah.
So was Babip.
Yeah.
He had a banger tweet about it too.
Yeah, I know.
Spend one split in NA and then I go to Worlds. Oh my god. I think the quote tweet, the quote tweet from that is like, it's so crazy that after a year, the only player that is going to Worlds from TSM was Babip, someone that got kicked off the Academy roster.
The only thing that would have made it even more meta is if he wrote the tweet originally in Mandarin.
Oh no. Let's move past that, Joe.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Perfectly fluent, no errors.
So Mark, you were saying about your beginnings in casting.
Yeah, well, so anyway,
I'm so happy I said that.
We definitely agree that there should have been a lot of players that could have made an argument that they were Academy ready, but mid-season contracts are hard to overcome, and it's especially if you're bringing in players from Canada, the visa issues that Viper and Anda experienced was like, that would have happened to a lot of Academy teams if they wanted to bring in players. That being said, there's now all of October, November, and December to get this shit figured the fuck out into the offseason and promote players, take players, whether you want to wait until scouting grounds, or I don't think you should have to. You should just go start making conversations right now. That being said, you don't have to limit yourself to one player, but you should just talk about players that you want to see promoted to Academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you might see us talk a lot about off-season soon. We'll see about that. We've got some stuff in the works.
Smax is trying to do the clickbait, subscribe for more content.
Exactly.
I have no idea what you're referencing, but keep going.
Oh yeah. We'll see. Mark, you were talking about your beginnings in casting and like the content stuff that you've done throughout this year, and it has led me to feel compelled about one more thing that I want to bring up, and that is that if you are out there and you are someone who has been heavily invested in the Proving Ground space, in the Academy space, and like whether you're like a caster or like somebody who's like really knowledgeable, like a coach or something, I really hope that for next year we have more stuff out about Proving Grounds and about Academy. And I want to give a huge shout out to AOE, actually. AOE Esports. They have been actually making a bunch of YouTube content. They got RMC and Dia to do like a rundown podcast thing on their YouTube channel that's like 10 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. I watched all the videos. I really enjoyed it. And I love making these like Proving Grounds pod and Raising NA episodes. That's why I do it. That's why Cubby does it. That's why Mark does it. We all absolutely love doing this. We would do it for free. Just because we enjoy it so much and we want to be like more immersed in everything. And if you want to do something like that as well, please do it. And if you don't know how, message me, us, because I just want more stuff in this space because it's so important to the development of North America. Like the way that these players have made a name for themselves and these teams throughout this entire year is unlike anything that the academy like league has ever been. And I think that's super important. And I want people to know that, and I just want there to be ways, like even more ways to tell people that. So if that's something that you're interested in, I really hope that you do it, because yeah, all of that.
Rant.
That is rant over. I just love Proving Grounds.
Anyway,
and I want more stuff.
Players that we think that might go to Academy. Let's set an over/under. My proposal is 7.5. We saw 2. I think that with the off season, that's a reasonable guesstimate for setting a line. Like, I don't know, we can do 6.5. Do you think 6.5 or 7.5?
From amateur to academy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Collegiate too.
Sure.
Which line is better?
I'm going
6.5 or 7.5?
It doesn't matter.
All right, 7.5 the line.
I'm doing over for both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
That's why I said it doesn't matter.
If it's 7.5, I'm under.
Okay. So you think it's exactly 7? I think the number is closer to 9 or 10.
Okay.
I'm thinking 10. TBH. I think at least every single academy team is going to pick up one player from semi-professional, and not because they're looking to replace members on their team, especially some of the top teams, but because those players are going to be signed by LCS teams, and therefore they need to bring players up to fill in that void. So the top teams, those players are going to get promoted to LCS and bought either directly from, academy to the LCS team of the same org, or some of the bottom tier LCS teams are going to get rid of their imports and invest into NA talent and bring up the academy players. The bottom tier academy teams are going to replace some of the players they have and bring in players from the semi-professional or the collegiate scene. Mostly semi-professional.
I don't think that... The thing is like, when you're competing in amateur here, you're also competing with players in every single minor region, because salaries are still higher here. So that's why I think it's under 7.5. I think that,
you think that
between teams like picking up players from other leagues, or LCS players moving to academy, or some academy promotions, just getting filled by maybe imports come in, like shifts get mid, I think like 7. I think it's under 7.5. I can't see like every org picking up a single player. I could see a couple orgs picking up maybe some duos, maybe some one-offs. But I think the number is going to be close to 7.5. Like, I think it's like a reasonable line. Yeah. And I'm also just saying under because you guys like are like convincingly over. And I think that it's tough like competing with every other region in the world, like because of what NA salaries are at.
I think there are, at least for the teams that made it to Proving Grounds, I think there are cases to be made for at least one player on every team. And there were 7 teams. So I think that's a pretty solid number. But I do think that it's more than that. Like I think duos are going to be pretty important. I think actually think the scouting grounds pool is going to be really sick this year too. Maybe not as many promotions as last year. Like a lot of COVID stuff was going on and everything. But
that's what I'm also thinking.
Yeah, I think the pool for the scouting ground is going to be really good. Like it's
the most proven.
Yeah.
Out of all the other pools we've had.
If I think of like how, well, I can't start naming examples because it's going to be too many for me to list at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are like a lot of good players. Don't get me wrong, but you never know what happens in off season, and I don't know. I hope
you also got to remember like other players too. Like Sheeden's going to be unbanned, and he's definitely going to be in academy.
True. That wouldn't count for me. That wouldn't count though, because like they didn't come from the ecosystem. This split.
I suppose.
Even though like we
All
know
right.
that player exists.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, there's also like 5-fire value.
I would count them because they competed in spring.
Yeah. Well, anywho.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but
I can
crazy.
definitely, yeah. You know, I mean, I know I'm taking a lot of copium that you know, that many players should be picked up.
Depends on where the LCS players that are getting demoted go, really.
That is also fair. It would be nice if we had more teams just to...
Like a 12-team league?
Yeah. Straight up.
I don't know if that'd be nice, but that's another huge conversation.
Not yet.
I don't think we're ready for that.
I mean, and it does require more money, but it's just... I just want to cultivate more competition, specifically among NA domestic talent, so that they can continue getting better and better, so that as we get to Worlds, and if we lose, we're losing with domestic talent that gets better, not with imports that organizations are shelling out shit tons of money for, specifically for the purpose of winning Worlds. Because then it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I know. I know. I've had this rant many times before, and you know, and I will still, you know, say with like a pre-warning that like I shouldn't be a team manager, and I shouldn't be like someone that oversees the business of things, because there's obviously a lot more. And when I talked to Veteran about it, you know, he gave me a perspective on like, you know, sometimes teams are not necessarily building teams for the sake of winning Worlds. They say they want to win Worlds because that's supposed to be the image of the brand that they're pushing for, but it's not actually for winning Worlds. It's for creating a team of players that will sell and put in more money for the team to grow in the future, so that they can continue making a profit and sustaining the people that work in the organization.
A lot of interesting stuff that I'm not smart enough to understand in this space, but
it's kind of
I'm optimistic.
But
I'm optimistic about the talent pool that we've seen through this year. So
it's been a hell of a year, and
oh, yeah.
it's kind of fun reminiscing on it a little bit with you guys. I forgot about the fucking Jinx subjective steals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, those were actually so filthy.
Yeah, when you think about the metas that we went through, and just think that fucking Udyr Hecarim was a jungle meta. What the fuck, man?
Udyr.
That makes me want to go drink a lot. Like the fact that we had to deal with that for 3 months.
Yeah.
If it was for 1 month, I would have been okay with it. It's like, okay, cool. Udyr's meta now. Like it's the strongest jungler.
Sends me into a depressive spiral.
But like for 3 months?
But Fnatic Hecarim was pretty pog. He somehow was able to out-hands everyone playing Hecarim. That was cool.
Because he didn't play it like a pussy, man. He played with Divine Sunder. Everyone is building Turbo Chem Tank, and somehow it deals a lot of damage. It's like, man, this just
Drop
sucks.
ego, pick karma. I remember that phrase.
Everyone's building Turbo Chem
and
Tank.
Seraphine.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Maybe I was playing a ton of Seraphine. Man. Well, on that note.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. Congratulations to 100 Thieves Academy. This tournament has been awesome. I'm very proud of the guys on that team, and yeah, I think there are so many people throughout Proving Grounds that deserve like so much praise. Yeah.
I'm feeling self-conscious about my language now. I take it back. I should have just said beta. You know, I apologize. It's But
yeah, I think the coolest story, honestly, that like hasn't really gotten the chance to be told at all is actually Golden Blue. That guy
That's how we're
coach
wrapping
this
things?
team.
A
What?
Golden Glue session?
Yeah, man. Dude, he just got into coaching for the first time for this year, and he had like a shit ton of rookies on this squad, and he just won the whole thing. And I think that's really cool. So huge ups to Golden Glue. That guy has been around for so long, and he deserves it. He's awesome. So, and he dresses so well.
That's it. Just cut
Yep.
the pod. Is that
See you guys.
Oh god. No. Yeah. I mean, cool year, and I mean, if you tune into, if you're like listening to this, you tune into this or like any of the games this year, like thank you, because ultimately like this is an eyeballs thing, and the fact that like the scene has grown so much, like actually get more people to care about it, and the players like we feel like are actually getting better and like developing, like that's a pretty cool combo. So it's actually grown like way more than we thought it would in the last year. Like that's thanks to any new listeners or anyone. It's like a new viewer from this past year of Proving Grounds. So
yeah,
that's pretty
we
wild.
made this channel at the start of the year, and we've got like 350 followers now on this channel. So that's awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Not even that. It's like
been
7K people watching Proving Grounds finals.
Oh, yeah.
The max that we got in 2020 was 3K.
Yeah, that as well. Like
Yeah.
the interest in Proving Grounds has been so cool.
Yeah.
But specifically to you guys who've been hanging out with us as well, because you are the people who are going to hear this. Thanks so much. It really means a lot. Yeah, we'll have some other off-season content coming. I think we're planning on getting somebody from 100 Thieves because they just won for next Proving Grounds pod. Hopefully, it's just going to be on Thursday, back to the regular day. We'll have to figure it out though. There will at least be one this week though, if all things go to plan. So.
Yep.
So yeah. And yeah, that's that. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. This has been episode 10 of the Proving Grounds pod, or not the Proving Grounds pod, Raising an A. I got my shows mixed up right at the end. You know, I'm kind of tired, guys.
Show,
I just moved yesterday, and my cat kept me up all night because he's not used to the new place yet, and I didn't sleep very much. So I'm gonna go try to do that now.
The baby. He's
Yep.
like, Dad, what is this place? Yeah, I don't have my usual nooks and crannies to sleep.
Well, he
in.
does, but it just smells different, probably. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Episode 10 of Raising an A. You can follow us at PGroundsPod on Twitter and on all of our audio platforms. We got Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, and Google at Proving Grounds Pod. And yeah, thanks so much. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Have a good night.